Hey guys, welcome back. It's me, Sal Mahajan, and in today's video, we will be starting our new section for the AWS Cloud Practitioner certification, that is Cloud Technology and Services. This is going to be one of our largest sections that we have, and this is very important because a huge portion of the questions come from this specified section. So let's dive right into this section. We are going to start off talking about what are the different ways to operate in AWS. So we did learn about, what is cloud computing, what is AWS, what are cloud providers, and all of that. Now let's talk about what are the different ways that you can operate or you can interact with AWS. First being the AWS Management Console. This is a simple website or a graphical user interface or a UI, you can say, where you just go to the AWS website, which is aws.amazon.com. And you can just interact with AWS over there. You can create whatever resource you want to create. You can manage your resources. And this is one of the most easiest way to interact with AWS or any cloud provider per se. And additionally, this is the method that we are going to use while we are going to demo through different services that are provided by AWS. Now, another option that we have, which is called Command Line Interface, it is also called CLI. This is a text-based interaction with AWS wherein you type in commands and you're able to interact with AWS. This is more wherein you are looking to, people who use Linux or people who use PowerShell or Terminal, they're pretty well versed with this, but this is another really powerful way how you can interact with AWS through writing commands in your PowerShell command prompt or terminal. Third being software development kits, which is also called SDKs. You can programmatically access AWS through programming languages. Now let's take, for example, you are working on Python. You are trying to have some use case in Python where you want to interact with AWS. You can install the Boto3 library, which is AWS's library that we use to interact with AWS services. So that is the Python-based library where you can type in a piece of code. Like, for example, you have a file which you want to upload to a storage, that is the S3 storage. You can write a very small piece of line or a piece of code that helps you access AWS and upload that file to a storage system on AWS. And coming to our final way on how you can operate in AWS is called Infrastructure as Code, also IAC. This is again very important because mostly when you go out when you work in organizations, IAC is what is used to manage and deploy resources to the cloud. So it is the automation of resource management and deployment through templates. So you create templates that can be in the YAML or JSON format, and these templates are then given to AWS, and AWS goes ahead and deploys those templates that you have. So you can create any resource that AWS provides or any service that AWS provides through IAC. Now, coming from the perspective of this examination, IAC is not very important, but IAC in general, from a job perspective, a career perspective in AWS or any cloud provider per se, is very important. Moving on, we're going to talk about the cloud deployment models. We have already spoken about the cloud deployment model, so we're going to quickly glance over it. You have one is your cloud only deployment, wherein you just deploy things on AWS. That's about it. Your second is hybrid, wherein you do cloud plus on-prem. So you have a couple of your resources deployed on AWS, and then a couple of your resources deployed on your own data center that is also called on-prem. And your final cloud deployment model is on-prem, wherein you just deploy everything on your own physical hardware. And let's move on. Now let's talk about connectivity options to AWS. Now, you know that we spoke about what are the different ways you can interact with AWS. Let's talk how can you connect to AWS. So there are three main ways or three main connectivity options that you have to AWS. The most basic and the thing that everyone uses on a daily basis is the public internet. You just, go onto the website and you access it. So this is the most widely used and is, general purpose that you have for your day-to-day use case, or in fact, everyone uses it, be it any organization you would access AWS to the public internet. Another option you have is called AWS Direct Connect. Now this connectivity option is more dedicated to your on-prem server. So if you want to have a dedicated physical connection from your on-prem server to AWS, you would use AWS Direct Connect. And our third option is AWS VPN. If you're looking to have an encrypted tunnel that extends your on-prem network into AWS, then you would use AWS VPN. Again, it's not really important to know about AWS Direct Connect and AWS VPN. We will of course dive into details what they are, but if mostly you would be connecting to AWS through the public internet. Moving forward, we are now gonna end up this presentation talking about one-time versus repeatable operations. So one-time operations are, ideal for ad hoc tasks. You wanna learn something, you have POCs, you wanna test something, you wanna innovate something, you go for one-time, operations. That is, you can either do that through the UI, so you go to the console, the management console, or you can do it through CLI-2. This is really just for, one time or a couple of time operations. This is not something that you would, want to do again and again. So you have a once in a lifetime or, once a month or once every 6 month changes, or you're just trying a couple of things out. That's your one-time operation. And then we have repeatable operations in AWS. So like there may be many operations or many resources or services or business logic that you have that is repeatable. So these are tasks that can be done repeatable. And if you guys remember, we spoke about infrastructure as a code, which is a template. So templates are things that can be reused from time to time. They're repeatable. So there are two ways that normally people do operations on AWS. The first being one time or few times, and the second is repeatable operation, wherein you want to do something multiple times or you want to maintain consistency. You would go with infrastructure as code. And infrastructure as code on AWS relates to CloudFormation. So I'll type that out over here, CloudFormation. So CloudFormation is basically the service provided by AWS, wherein you can create templates to deploy resources to AWS. Now, maybe this slide was a bit confusing, but in the future videos, it is really going to get very clear once we start diving into demos. So I hope you guys did like this video. If you did, please make sure to leave a like, do subscribe, and do comment if there are any other topics out there that you guys would like me to cover. I hope you guys have a great day ahead. See ya. Take care. Bye-bye.